This is Reset. I'm Sasha Ann Simons. If you live in Cook County, you're picking a new state's attorney this election cycle. That's because earlier this year, the incumbent, Democrat Kim Foxx, announced that she would not be seeking a third term in office. There are 3 candidates on the ballot, including Republican Bob Fioretti. Fioretti is a private defense attorney by trade and was a Chicago alderman from 2007 to 2015. He ran for mayor twice, in 2015 and 2019. Until 2 years ago, he had always run as a Democrat. But Fioretti switched his party affiliation in 2022 to challenge Cook County Board President Tony Preckwinkle for that position. Bob Fioretti joins us now to talk about why he's seeking your vote as the county's top prosecutor. Welcome to Reset, Bob.
Good to be here. Thank you much.
The Tribune points out that you voted Democrat from 1990 to 2022. You were also a Democratic alderman, and you ran as a Democrat for several positions. But now you say that the Democratic Party no longer feels like home. Why not, Bob? What changed?
When I ran for alderman, I was an independent, as you may know, and I was a Democratic committeeman for those positions for 2 terms. I voted in my first election as a Democrat in the primary. I drove all the way from Champaign, Illinois, to the south side, Roseland, and voted at my firehouse over there at 120th and State Street. The Democratic Party has left me, as it has hundreds of thousands of people, and many here in the city of Chicago. But people are afraid to stand up and do the right thing. I hear it over and over again. They're afraid because their brother or sister or somebody in the family has a job with the city or with the county, and they feel that there will be retribution. Well, to me, and even when I was in the city council, I was accused more often of being a Republican because I stood for fiscal responsibility. I backed the police all the time. I made sure against Rahm, against the closings that happened on all of our schools. I was an advocate from day one, once the mental health places were closed, that we reopen them. And for the few millions of dollars that it would have taken, it would have saved hundreds of lives.
So let's get back into some more of your plans for the office. So I think the issue where you diverge most from your chief opponent, who's Democrat Eileen O'Neill Burke, it's on immigration. You say that you will work with ICE, the Immigration and Customs Enforcement, to, quote, remove violent illegal alien criminals from our streets and neighborhoods, end quote. Now, research has shown that immigrants commit fewer crimes than people born in the U.S. So why is this a priority for you?
Well, I'm not sure if that's accurate. Here in the city of Chicago, from the first 8 months of this year, 32.9% of the people that were arrested were foreign-born. You can, I don't know what numbers you're citing, but the actual truth is they are committing many crimes. I've heard at some of the places that have housed the immigrants, the huge number of 911 calls are just unbelievable at this stage, and they are offering. Because let's just backtrack on just one of them. You can go past the Standard Club that has housed hundreds of migrants there. What we see is not just the services that are provided in there, but the ancillary services, the streets and sand, putting up iron gates around Pritzker Park there, the police protection that keeps going out there. You can, if you follow CWB, you see that often on what's happening and how many are arrested. We just had a young 19-year-old who committed and murdered a 17-year-old. From the 19-year-old was here as an immigrant, illegal. He killed the 17-year-old. He was out in March. Apparently, he either attacked or pulled a knife on somebody. He should have been awaiting trial on that or had trial on that, and he probably would not have committed the crime that we're talking about. And so I see a lot of changes that are necessary, and yes, I do. Maybe my opponent feels otherwise. I would love to have the opportunity to address her and debate her on each and every issue, but she's turned down debates from various sources, and I think we'll never have a debate with her.
Former President Donald Trump has talked about mass deportations if he's elected. You've questioned the feasibility of that. So locally, how would you use the state's attorney's office to crack down on violent crimes allegedly committed by undocumented immigrants? What would that look like on the ground?
Well, let's not talk about undocumented immigrants. Let's just talk about everybody. Anybody that we cannot coddle violent criminals. Period. We're going to charge them to the fullest. There was a young woman and I believe her husband, that was out here on Mag Mile or just off of the Mag Mile, that was violently attacked, and she lost her baby. And I believe they were charged with misdemeanors on the people that attacked her. Well, should have been charged with felonies. There's no excuse for undercharging.
So that's what you mean by charging them to the fullest?
Yes.
Now, you've said that you intend to enforce the law as it's written. You said that earlier. Now, on your campaign website and flyers, you say, quote, "No more coddling violent criminals. As a rule, if Kim Foxx did it, Bob will do the opposite." What do you think is wrong with Fox's overall approach to this job?
No, just the example I just gave. She lost her baby. And I think the individuals should have been charged to the fullest of the law. Why are we coddling violent criminals and the revolving door that we have at 26 in California or all the other criminal court buildings that we have through this county, when they should be either charged to the maximum, looked at, and either detained if they're under those requirements for detention, and we go forward. I mean, why are there people, and I hear it over and over in every community right now, that people have to look around their back, see what's happening. It's unfathomable. We need to have safe streets, strong communities, and thriving businesses.
And you believe that's what things will look like if you are a successful candidate?
And the reason it's going to look like that, just like I was as alderman, I brought 8,000 jobs to my ward. I was primarily an African-American ward, 76% when I was elected. We had community benefit agreements that people, that they hire from our communities. I had somebody who was hired almost 12 years ago at one of the job sites because of the community benefit agreement. He called me up just the other day and said, "Hey, Alderman, what can I do with your campaign? I still have that job, and I thank you fully for what you did." And so I am going to make sure that we have a collaborative approach towards what is necessary here to solve crime in each and every neighborhood.
Many in the GOP have criticized the Safety Act. This is the Illinois law that was championed by Fox and other progressive Democrats that eliminates cash bail for people awaiting criminal trials, and it also mandates other police and court reforms. Do you share the concerns of some in your party that the law handcuffs law enforcement?
Well, first of all, I think the issue isn't handcuffing. The issue is what can be done under the law. And there are changes. Let's face facts. The act was thrown onto everybody's desk in the middle of the night to be voted a few hours later. It was 917 pages, all right? And I doubt whether 2/3 of the legislators read it. It passed. Pritzker signed it, and he bears responsibility for it. And then it went on. A lawsuit was filed by 100 state's attorneys out of 102. The only two that did not sign on it was Cook County State's Attorney and Lake County.
What did that signal to you?
It signals to me that they were probably in the minority in terms of what happens. And then a trailer bill happened. I believe it was 300 pages that amended parts of that. And I still think there's parts that could be amended. There are good parts to it, and there are bad parts that need amending. And I am going to join some of those state's attorneys, like the Will County one, Jim Glasgow, to try to amend it where necessary.
So do you feel that there should be some tweaks made to the law?
Yeah, obviously.
What should change?
I think an assault on a police officer and assault on an elderly should be detainable offenses. I think anybody that is in possession of an illegal machine gun should be detained. Those type of weapons are only meant to harm the public and police officers. So I haven't gone through it word for word in the last few months, but I do intend to join others and listen to the state's attorneys and listen to the concerns of the community, our communities, on what needs to be changed.
Would your office seek pretrial detention when the top charge is illegal gun possession and there are no aggravating factors or prior gun convictions?
I'm going to look at every individual is a different type of case. But depending on how the law is written, I will seek detention for each and every one.
So, Bob, if you're elected, tell us how your office would work with police departments, especially CPD, and how would that differ from what we've seen over the last 8 years?
Well, we have about 150 different departments here in the county of Cook, so we have to work with all of them. CPD already works with many of them, and I'm going to make sure we have a position and a place dealing with each and every one. I believe I have the backing of the police department, of the members, and I'm proud of being a longtime advocate for the police. But at the same time, I look at things and how we can change even within the department. My cases have affected and stopped chokeholds in the city of Chicago when I worked for Harold Washington. My cases have affected how detectives take notes. My cases have affected how we transport prisoners that are suspects that are arrested on the street and how they're transported to the police stations. I have a long-standing relationship with the police and with the various departments that my opponent does not have.
You currently do not have the endorsement of the city's largest police union, Chicago's Fraternal Order of Police. However, civil rights icon Jesse Jackson is backing you. Normally, for a Republican candidate, those would be flipped, what I just laid out there. So what do you think that says about your candidacy?
It says my integrity is first and foremost, that I'm in the community, that I represent the community. As Reverend Jackson, and believe me, I am so honored by that endorsement and surprised. He is an icon in the civil rights field. On the first day of the Democratic Convention that was here in Chicago, he was honored to the fullest. And for him to say, Bob Fioretti is the best candidate for our community, I am truly, truly honored.
Earlier this month, Cook County prosecutors dropped their case against Alexander Villa. He was convicted in the 2011 murder of CPD officer Clifton Lewis. Now, the decision led a judge to throw out Villa's conviction and life sentence. That means all three men charged with Lewis's killing have had their cases dismissed, and no one's being held responsible for a cop's murder. What do you make of this case?
Well, first of all, there are many wrongful convictions where the individual is out there free. As you probably may recall, I have represented those that have been wrongfully convicted. I have sued the governor on those that have been wrongfully convicted. I see problems that are in the system, and I'm going to make sure that I work with the superintendent's office, and we do not have that. We need integrity in our investigations. We need integrity in the arrest. We need integrity on everything according up to the trial. And I believe that my view of the criminal justice system is such that the state's attorney's people need to understand the presumption of innocence. And I want hard-charging, fair, equitable state's attorneys that understand the presumption of innocence pitted against fair, ethical, hard-charging public defenders or those that represent the criminal defendant, and at the same time are creative. And we put that in front of neutral judges, and I hope we have enough of them out there that then call balls and strikes, and when necessary, those individuals are put in front of a jury of their peers. And if we watch the integrity along the way, we shouldn't be having wrongful convictions because it is costing the taxpayers and the families and everyone involved hundreds of millions of dollars to this day, and that will end under my administration.
Police accountability advocates argue that when an officer commits a crime, prosecutors face conflicts of interest because they routinely need cops to serve as witnesses and gather evidence in other criminal cases. Would you outsource the prosecution of police officer defendants to maybe private law firms?
No, I think that's somewhat. We saw that with the Jussie Smollett case, that it was sent out, but I don't think that really. Maybe in the rare case, and in case I'm not making a point, it's a rare case that there may be that sort of conflict. I do not see that that often. I have a law enforcement advisory group that advises me almost weekly, composed of various aspects of law enforcement, outside of law enforcement, the judiciary, former judges, and I think, we as state's attorneys, because when you prosecute somebody, you're taking away their liberty. It doesn't matter who or what they are, what status they are. Let's not forget, there may be bad apples in the bunch, but a few bad apples do not destroy the whole barrel.
You've blasted Kim Foxx's plan to limit prosecutions of gun cases that are tied to traffic stops. Foxx says that she wants county prosecutors to reject gun and drug charges that come from police stops for minor offenses like expired plates or burnt out headlights. Why don't you like that idea?
Well, that's been the law since 1928, and it went up from the Supreme Court saying it. You know what? And there could be huge drug dealers, illegal guns that are being fostered by some traffic stops. That was not put into place. It was a draft. I think there was a lot of pushback, and she understood that, and she never implemented that. How we, and I know my opponent has said she's doing that. Well, she's not. And so I don't know, maybe she's finally changed her position, my opponent, on that. But the truth of the matter is that is not happening, and we have to be very careful. We are not in a position, we are sworn to uphold the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the state of Illinois, all the cases that have come down, and all the interpretations of them. It is, and how we view that. You know, we can't go off willy-nilly and decide otherwise.
So you've made several critiques of incumbent Cook County State's Attorney Kim Foxx, but I want to put the spotlight back on you and your chief opponent. So what would you say distinguishes you from Eileen O'Neill Burke? What are voters getting with you, Bob, that they wouldn't be getting with her in office?
I think integrity, the understanding of our criminal justice system. I have tried cases. I have more experience than my opponent in the trial room. There's no doubt about that. I've tried cases in every courtroom in this county, throughout all the surrounding counties, throughout the state, throughout our surrounding states, both state and federal. You know, and I have had the experience of working with federal, state, local governments. I've as a private attorney, I changed adoption laws here in the state of Illinois, which affected on the one case that I had, that then affected all the adoption laws across the state of Illinois, across this country. So, you know, she does not have that broad base of experience. I've been appointed a special assistant state's attorney in Cook County, DuPage County, and Will County. Why? Because when conflicts arose, I was asked to step in and represent the people of the state on those conflicts. I've been asked by the attorney generals, both Democrat and Republican, of this state to represent the people of this state in numerous cases, and I did so. Why? Because they have confidence in my judgment, and I am going to bring that to the people. My other big difference is she's not out there. She doesn't want to talk to the community. She doesn't want to go out there. I have many exonerees who are backing me. I met with them. They had a little fundraiser meet and greet the other day for me, and I'm honored to see those people. The police department, I've been honored by many of them who are now endorsing me and helping me in this campaign. I'm bringing together coalitions that are necessary to bring down crime, to get illegal guns off the street, to get the drugs off the street, and to bring people together and stop, more importantly, also part of my agenda, human trafficking. Chicago is a global center for human trafficking. Pre-pandemic, we used to have 25,000 acts of prostitution a day. And you know what? I don't know what the numbers are now, but I just recently led a seminar with the chief judge. She was going to be the chief judge. She is now, of the federal court system. Some people from the state's attorney's office, others from our legislature, survivors, talking about the impact of human trafficking here in this city and in this county. And you can use Donald Trump's name, but I had talked about it when I was in the city council. I brought a resolution, and guess what? Most of the aldermen that were at that hearing, and we also had people from the Justice Department at that hearing, said, I didn't know that. Well, you know what? You have to open up your eyes. And we're going to fight what needs to be done to make every community in this county have safe streets, strong communities, and thriving businesses. It doesn't matter what zip code you're from, because people know I'm going to fight for them.
We've been speaking with lawyer and former Chicago Alderman Bob Fioretti. He's the Republican candidate for Cook County State's Attorney. Thank you for joining us.
Good to be here. Thank you.